A headline from the front page of the New York Times for every day of January 1936. Swedes are slain as Italians bomb a Red Cross unit. Layman asks state action to set up social program by increasing liquor tax. Congress to meet at noon. Roosevelt's speech tonight stirs bitter partisanship. Roosevelt in message dares critics to seek repeal of New Deal laws, condemns war-making autocracies. Roosevelt's attack opens 1936 campaign in earnest. Europe sees no oil boycott. World Jewry to be asked to finance great exodus of German co-religionists. Supreme Court finds AAA unconstitutional. 6-3 verdict dooms other New Deal laws. Roosevelt studies upset. More taxes needed. Farmers called to Capitol to draft new aid program. Cotton faces worst crisis. Roosevelt asks aid of all for progress and ideals. New farm policy drafted. Democrats set convention for June 23rd in Philadelphia. $200,000 bid win in auction. House passes bonus 356-59. Soil conservation is basis of new farm aid program. Hauptmann loses plea to court for clemency. Talk of seizing Condon. Early little rains in Ethiopia destroy roads, halting Italians. Layman asks no new taxes, retains emergency levies, budget put at $308,667,248. Hauptmann loses plea for federal court writ, Hoffman still undecided. Lights out, city paralyzed for hours north of 59th Street by power plant failure. Ellsworth and aid alive and well in Little America, British rescue ship radios. Ellsworth tells the story of flight across Antarctic, battled a raging blizzard. George V grows weaker, heart strain increasing, family at his bedside. President extols TR as defender of social justice. King George V dies peacefully in sleep. Prince of Wales becomes Edward VIII. Edward VIII is proclaimed, receives fealty of nation, George's funeral Tuesday. 5 powers join in pact to offer a united front should Italy attack one. Zero cold kills 3 here, no relief till tomorrow, 13 state area suffering. House swiftly overrides bonus veto by Roosevelt, Senate to act on Monday. Macaulay line cut in bitter fighting, Ethiopia asserts. Italians push on in south, foes retreat 268 miles, fight continues in north. Bonus bill becomes law, repassed in Senate, 76-19, payment will be speeded. George V is buried with regal pomp as nation grieves. Grassroots open war on New Deal, boom Talmadge. Plan for big tax program discussed at White House to offset budget losses. A headline for every day of February 1936. Huey P. Long's widow is named to fill his seat in the Senate. Inflationists adopt plan for drive in both houses if tax is asked for bonus. Poland boycotts oil embargo talks at Geneva today. Repeal of 3 farm acts recommended by President. House gets revised aid bill. President moves to cancel billion in unused credits. End of priming indicated. Olympics begin today in Germany. 80,000 to witness winter sports. Hitler opens the Winter Olympics. U.S. defeats Germany in hockey. Slug mint raided. Ton of coin found. Britain is doubling her defense plans to offset Germany. Germany insists she owns colonies lost in World War. 4 powers fix cruiser limit at 8,000 tons for 5 years. Battleship Accord in view. Nazis strike blow at Catholic youth, 150 leaders jailed. 4 killed, 38 injured in panic as Lexington Avenue Cafe burns. 8 dead in fire at Lakewood. 6 fire deaths laid to lax supervision and diners panic. Japan now finds Soviet hits back in border clashes. Roosevelt asks parley on Pan-American peace to meet in Buenos Aires. 80,000 Ethiopians routed by foe in six-day battle. Italians gain in North. Supreme Court 8-1 backs TVA on the sale of power produced from Wilson Dam. $338,000, $600 gold cachet is seized in raid on deposit vaults here. Hauptmann is resentenced to die. Leibowitz suddenly quits the case. Spain threatened by martial law as leftists riot. London Tin King jailed for a year. Foreign propaganda here is denounced by Bora. He again urges isolation. 3 legislators are named by laymen on the radio as blocking crime bills. Eden wants Britain strong to prevent European war. Rome hints of Reich deal. Militarists attempt coup in Japan. 2 cabinet leaders assassinated. Emperor calls in Asumi, a liberal. Loyal army and fleet control Tokyo with rebels threatening treating for peace. 80 reported dead in street fighting. Rebels hold posts in Tokyo. More troops move to city. All-night talk on cabinet. Tokyo rebels surrendering after ruler orders force. Strict censorship revived. A headline for every day of March 1936. Okada alive, holds post, relatives slain instead, revolt leader a suicide. Italians shatter armies of North in bitter fight. Sea war's climax past. Italy gets choice of African peace or oil sanctions. Strike parley deadlocked with 1,300 buildings tied up, 5,000 in Wild Park Avenue March. Strike parley is futile, less violence on 4th day, Dodge calls union chiefs. Building strike spreading, owner's bar closed shop, 35 hotels now threatened. Reichstag meets today to hear Hitler outline new stand on Locarno. Hitler sends troops into Rhineland, offers Paris 25-year non-aggression pact. France mans her forts, Britain studies move. League acts Friday on Rhineland, France moving to combat Hitler, Mussolini reported seeking deal. Locarno signatories to act today, Eden would try Hitler peace plan, Paris censor covers troop moves. French bar deal with Reich, transfer talks to London to put issue up to Baldwin. France remains adamant as Locarno powers meet. British seek compromise. 4 Locarno powers condemn Reich for clear violation of treaties. Hitler refuses to quit Rhineland. French and Belgians offer to moderate Rhine stand for British military help. Reich invited to parley as Locarno powers press for Franco-British pact. Hitler accepts League bid in terms France rejects. British still expect deal. League bars Hitler terms but grants him equality. He is expected to accept. 14-foot flood in Johnstown paralyzed business area. Waters sweep Cumberland. Floods sweep 12 states, maroon thousands. Pittsburgh in darkness, all traffic cut off. New England hit hard, Jonestown deserted. 134 dead, 200,000 homeless in floods. Wheeling deluged, Washington hit, wide New England area is cut off. Flood paralyzes Hartford, wide ruin in New England. Waters elsewhere recede. Cold and blizzard hampered relief in the flood areas. Crest has passed Hartford. New England floods fall. Hartford under troop rule. New York buffeted by gale. Mussolini nationalizes key defense industries. Holding war is certain. Hitler rejects all terms but promises new offer. League ends London talks. U.S. and Britain exchange pledges of naval parity. Limitation treaty signed. Reich won't halt arming on Rhine pending parleys. Hitler ridicules powers' demands and plea to nation. Germans ordered to the polls today to vote for Hitler. Hitler gets biggest vote, many blanks counted in, 542,953 are invalidated. Hauptmann plea fails, no stay, says Hoffman on the execution tonight. A headline for every day of April 1936. Hauptmann gets a stay for at least 48 hours at grand jury's request. Execution of Hauptmann set for tomorrow night, further delay possible. Jurors drop Wendell case, Hauptmann to die tonight unless he gets a new stay. Hauptmann put to death for killing Lindbergh baby, remains silent to the end. Emperor's army in flight pursued by Italian planes after a stubborn battle. Planes follow up routed Ethiopians, Italians press on. 350 killed by tornadoes over wide area in south. Property damage heavy. Italy gives pledge she will not bomb Ethiopian capital. Commission to rule Europe urged in French peace plan. 25-year status quo asked. Italy admits plan for puppet state in occupied area. 1 killed, 4 hurt by mail bombs at Wilkes-Barre. Troops save Negro from Georgia mob. League of Nations in Americas urged by 3 Latin states. British to eschew armed sanctions against Italians. $50 million art on ship aground near Gibraltar en route to China. Italians occupy Dessier, go 120 miles in 5 days, trade cut by sanctions. Italy, defiant on terms, tries to bar the League, drives on to Addis Ababa. League peace efforts fail, Britain and France avert break by deferring oil sanctions. Ethiopia's peril now grave, writer finds at the front, emperor can still fight. 1 dead, 2 left in mine have only 10 hours to live. 2 in mine near rescue, here's pics of men cutting through last rock wall. Slides delay mine rescue, workers weary press on. 2 men rescued from the mine after 10-day entombment. Robertson asks for steak. Press fight urged to keep radio free from censorship. Detective called by Druckmann jury commits suicide. Roosevelt here defends cost of rebuilding nation, urges layman re-election. New city charter offered, Council of 39 is created to end Board of Aldermen. Goering dictator of Reich finances to end quarrels. Roper says government will support business if it cooperates on jobs. $803 million tax bill wins by vote of 267 to 93 in House. Business attacks New Deal. A headline for every day of May 1936. Senators move to increase tax bill yield $190 million after plea by Morgenthau. Force 40 times that of electricity is discovered in hearts of atoms. Emperor in flight, capital looted, Ethiopia's resistance collapses. Foreigners guarded in legations. Shooting mobs ravage Addis Ababa, American woman among many slain. Britain turning away from League. Italians reported at Addis Ababa, legations beat off many attacks. Hull directs ours to be abandoned. Ethiopia is Italian, says Mussolini, as his troops occupy Addis Ababa. Quick action to protect legations. Eden asks League reform, Italy to annex Ethiopia. Bars protests or parleys. Annexation of Ethiopia planned for tomorrow. Italy runs French road. Dirigible reaches New York at 4:55 a.m. in record flight. Goes on to Lakehurst Base. Italy annexes Ethiopia. King becomes emperor and Badoglio viceroy. Population of USA 127,521,000 last July 1st. up 3.9% in 5 years. Robinson taken by G-men, admits stole kidnapping, public enemy slate clean. Revised tax plan offered with Roosevelt's approval, inflation fought in House. Fraser-Lemke bill beaten in the House by 235 to 142 after warning on inflation. Baldwin seeks reforms in league to bring U.S. in with Germany and Japan. Rise in income tax to 5%, 18% rate on corporations now favored by senators. 30 hurt in clash of seamen pickets and police at pier. Germany exudes air of well-being. High Court voids Guffey coal law as a violation of states' rights. Resettlement losses a test case. Broader powers sought by Druckmann grand jury in appeal to Governor Lehman. Lehman not to run again, blow to party and state. Jackson likely candidate. 18% corporate income tax and 7% on undivided profit agreed on by Senate group. Axes smash clubs in Kansas dry raid. Many deaths laid to Black Legion, Klan link charged. Officers of Black Legion hunted by the police in Michigan deaths. Black Legion men held without bail on murder charge. Reich puts 276 monks on trial, accusing them of immorality. Senate bill gives Roosevelt sole control of all relief, new snarl over tax plans. Washington to get Black Legion data. Seamen end strike, fearing cause lost. Thousands parade in city as America honors dead, Roosevelt at Arlington. A headline for every day of June 1936. 15 escape as TWA airliner plunges into a Chicago lot. Supreme Court 5-4 voids state minimum wage law, another blow, says AFL. Canton demands war on Japan, seeks to rally whole of China. Parker Sr. is arrested in Wendell kidnapping, will fight extradition. France crippled by wider strikes, Blum is in power. Landon continues to gain, may dictate platform, Bora won't support him. Stop Landon group fails to unite, awaiting expected attack by Bora. Vandenberg rejects second place. Vandenberg and Bora begin drives to stem the rising tide for Landon. Liberal platform demand grows. Landon's sweep is checked by New York group after Bora blocks combination against him. New Yorkers bar Mills from platform post. Keynoter denounces Roosevelt policies, demanding tax cuts and balanced budget. Landon men take control of convention. Hoover excoriates New Deal as fascism, demanding a holy crusade for freedom. Currency plank pledges stabilization. Republicans name Landon unanimously. He accepts platform, adding own ideas. Knox nominated for vice president. Hamilton chairman. Convention ends. Landon prepares vigorous campaign. Japanese land in Fukien as Canton demands war. 2 U.S. ships sent south. Barring of 3 Philadelphia pastors brings walkout by Presbyterians. Inventor is slain near Jersey home, footprint a clue. More murder, Key is seen by police in Jersey suicide. Reich has air and sea strategy to make blockade impossible. Eden smashes sanctions, says alternative is war, firm on Mediterranean. 4 workers killed, 12 hurt in crash of Bronx building. Congress ends its session, new tax measure enacted, filibuster kills coal bill. Smith heads group calling on Democrats to repudiate Roosevelt and the New Deal. Progressives find Wagner platform weak. Loyalty to president intensified by revolts, giving him complete control in convention. move to draft Layman to hold New York. Farley and Barclay win ovations for Roosevelt, platform to reassert farm and trade policies. Layman expected to run on Social Security issue. Robinson rallies Democrats with defense of New Deal. Committee considers platform supplied by President. Roosevelt expected to draft Layman after convention. Democrats adopt platform continuing New Deal. Favor constitutional amendments if necessary. Convention abrogates century-old two-thirds rule. Roosevelt nominated by acclamation. Demonstrations for him and Layman. Roosevelt to war on economic royalists, hailed by throngs in acceptance ceremony. Garner named as weary convention closes. Steel chiefs defy union, pledge resources to bar closed shop and industry. Bond gang, directed from prison, trapped here in perfect crime. A headline for every day of July 1936. Layman yields to pressure, will run for third term. Roosevelt hails decision. League is leaving Ethiopia to fate, split on reforms. Pope orders world drive to raise film standards, urges boycott pledges. Clashes in League hold up disposal of Ethiopia issue. Nazi mocks League in Danzig hearing. Danzig rift turns Poles from Reich, League tests scene. Lewis opens union fight to organize steelmen, ready for long warfare. Relief to 134,000 families planned for drought area, Roosevelt to visit region. Heat kills 120 in nation, increases crop losses, no real relief in sight. Heat record shattered with 102.3 degrees here, nation's death toll 245. 30 die here in 100-degree heat, no early relief in forecast. Western crops cut 40%. Rain fails to end heat here after 72 die in 4 days. Relief forecast in West. Austria pledged Hitler in secret to build up army. Break in heat wave is seen. Tugwell goes to Dakotas to start vast relief move. Rain and cool weather move slowly eastward. Heat deaths near 3,000. United States Olympic team sails for games amid rousing send-off. Edward escapes assassin as policemen block aim of man at London parade. Cantonese leader flees from China. Rising collapses. Spain checks army rising as Morocco forces rebel. 2 cities in Africa bombed. Rebels gain in South Spain. Civil war rages in cities. 2 Madrid cabinets fall. Revolt in Madrid crushed. Fighting in other cities. Armed masses aid cabinet. Rebels win in North Spain and march toward Madrid, where red rule impends. Rebel successes reported in Spain. Checked in Madrid drive, however. Consuls tell of Americans in peril. Landon pledges strict economy, but full relief to those in need. Great throng at his notification. Landon gets wide praise, Buffalo speech in August to open his drive in East. Rebels lose fight in South, halt their push on Madrid, retain 28 of 50 provinces. Queen Mary sets record for the Atlantic crossing. Soviet will cut imports to add gold reserves for war defense. Spain orders churches confiscated. Control of all industry is decreed. Rebels advance steadily on capital. Spanish armies on move for 6 major battles. Madrid sees long siege. Rebels rush men to front for new drive on Madrid. 2,000 foes slain in ambush. A headline for every day of August 1936. France asks 3-power conference for neutrality in Spanish crisis. Rebels advance in drive on Madrid. Spanish rebels now drive to capture ports in north. Madrid campaign is held up. 3 cities in Spain fired by intense left bombings. Rebels advance on Madrid. Reich warship blocks fire of Spanish ships at Ceuta. Reported landing sailors. U.S. captures 4 events. Owens sets jump record. Owens completes triple as 5 Olympic marks fall. Germans aroused by left shooting of 4 in Spain. Loyal ships fire Algeciras, cut off foes in Morocco, rebel cruiser ruins Gijon. France promises a liberal regime favoring no class. Loyalists kill 800 rebels in battle outside Madrid. Franco forces drive north. Corn crop worst since '81. Relief on disaster basis. 32 German and Italian planes reach rebel army in Spain. Drive to sea begun in north. Rebel defeats reported in drive to sea in north. Air raid on Madrid near. Planes bomb San Sebastian. Leftists ready to kill 700 if warship shells the city. U.S. reduces duties on Reich imports. 733 executed in Madrid, 7,000 others in city seized. Rebels near port of Irun. Rebels slaughter Badoge leftists, execute 1,200, houses in flames, 2 armies drive on Reds in Malaga. Rebels shell San Sebastian and Irun by land and sea, new battle on near Badoge. Italy's planes ready to help rebels if France continues aid to Madrid. Capital prepares for early attack. Increase in drought jobs ordered by Roosevelt. He will ask more funds. Reich orders its warships near Spain to resist force. Madrid reports victories. Rebels losing in battle at Cordoba. Prepare for drive on Madrid today. Germany sends a protest to Russia. Rebels launch drive, attack Toledo, fighting within 40 miles of Madrid. Loyalists meet the British demands. Franco stakes all-in drive to take Madrid in 5 days. Air raid on city reported. Germany and Russia ban arms exports to Spain. Rebel planes bomb Irun. Roosevelt, if re-elected, may call kings and dictators and presidents to Great Power Peace Conference. Geoghegan blames Valentine for Druckmann case fiasco. Lehman joins in questions. Geoghegan refused to act in murder. Valentine swears. Hitler suspends trials of monks. Rebel flyer bombs heart of Madrid. 17 are wounded. President makes protest to both sides in Spain over bombing of warship. A headline for every day of September 1936. Machine speeds picking of cotton. $1 billion rise in deficit for 1937 seen by Roosevelt. Relief may cost $500 million. Fall of Irun is imminent as rebels take outposts. Diplomats to seek truce. Roosevelt meets Landon in cordial drought talk. Governor offers his plan. Anarchists destroy Irun as city falls to rebels. Report hostages escaped. Fort Guadalupe taken by the Spanish rebels. Fuenterrabia also falls. Roosevelt offers his plan to meet the drought crisis for jobs rather than dole. Paris to multiply arms on big scale in reply to Hitler. Reform of the government is planned by Roosevelt. Bureau regrouping studied. Hitler disavows war aim, asserts right to colonies as Nazi conclave cheers. 50,000 with spades march for Hitler, pledging loyalty. Nuremberg tense as 400 planes fly. Red Scare grows. Landon, in final Maine plea, scores attempt to control business by the NRA and AAA. Hitler warns Reds millions of Nazis are ready for war. German planes turn tide to rebels in Madrid drive. Terror and capital revealed. Tammany wins in city poll. Brunner and Streit victors, Couzens behind in Michigan. Battle rages at Moqueta, southern key to Madrid, TNT laid to raise Alcazar. Hurricane batters coasts of Carolina and Virginia. Many towns are evacuated. 54 lives lost as hurricane sweeps Atlantic seaboard. Gale and rain batter city. Hurricane sweeps out to sea, sparing New England coast. Bomb wrecks newspaper and a church in Havana, 4 killed, 27 injured. Both Roosevelt and Landon pledged new aid to farmers, Congress to get loan plan. Landon promises farmers cash benefits to equalize aid of tariff to industry. Shanghai area occupied by Japanese naval force after killing of a sailor. Rebels stormed Toledo today, flood is loosed upon them. French cut franc a third on Monday, gold suspended, Parliament called, Washington and London cooperating. U.S. backs up franc deal, buying Soviet bank pounds. Swiss and Dutch will devalue. Toledo captured by Spanish rebels, Alcazar relieved. State Republicans score New Deal, opposition to Bleakley crumbles. Democrats center fire on Landon. Roosevelt hits false issue of communism, repudiates any support by its advocates. Bleakley and Governor Lehman are nominated. A headline for every day of October 1936. Landon based his attack on Security Act on report to group backed by Feline. Ex-Governor Smith declares for Landon, Roosevelt sees budget balanced by higher revenue without tax rise. Yanks crush Giants 18-4, a World Series record. 45,000 see second game. Foes deadlocked in hard fighting. Paris police check Reds foes in riots, 1,500 seized in a day. Landon advocates anti-lynching law. Lehman opens campaign with attack on Bleakley, calls program supine. Soviet threatens to help Madrid unless 3 powers cease aiding the rebels. Fair of 1939 will depict the world of tomorrow. Powers in row over Spain as Soviet presses charges. France will not aid Russia. New 4-point farm program is outlined by Roosevelt. He asks election of Norris. Rebels push drive to outflank foe north of Madrid. 3 powers make gold deal. Exports to central banks to stabilize money rates. Loyalists battle foe for key town. Rain bogs rebels. Roosevelt says he saved business from ruin and from monopolies. Landon sees recovery retarded. 4 Union leaders accused in riots. Hoover charges faking in accounts conceals huge government expense. Roosevelt hit out at Wall Street. Madrid is cut off by rail from sea in swift advance. Rebels 18 miles south of Madrid, capital is ready. President quits Madrid, rebels 16 miles from city, Soviet plans drastic step. Landon assails Roosevelt as seeking planned society, 50,000 at Los Angeles rally. Roosevelt likens his tax program to that for which we fought in '76. Landon cheered by California trip. Soviet retreating on threat to help leftist in Spain. Roosevelt pledges private profit and private enterprise to business. Landon scores attack on his record. Soviet accused by Britain of shipping arms to Spain. Italy also called violator. Germans will be forced to read only books by Hitlerite authors. Landon says little man must pay New Deal bills. President talks to Negroes. Tammany fights charter and proportional voting. Landon hits Farley spoils. City throngs cheer Roosevelt and Landon as they open final battle for the East. Republican candidate greeted by Smith. Landon challenges Roosevelt to state aims on AAA and NRA. unemployment relief, and budget. President hits drive to sabotage security. Roosevelt sets security for all and an end of equalities as his aim. Landon campaigns in West Virginia. A headline for every day of November 1936. Roosevelt defies organized money foes, pledges continued fight for New Deal aims. Landon, closing, promises happier America. 18 vessels tied up here, strike hits other ports, U.S. ready to intervene. Millions in nation to go to the polls today after final word by Roosevelt and Landon. Both party chairmen confident of victory. Roosevelt sweeps the nation, his electoral vote exceeds 500. Layman wins, charter adopted. Roosevelt's plurality is 11 million, gains 14 seats in House, 5 in Senate, vote here held blow to Tammany. Madrid is shelled as rebels push on into the suburbs. Government to quit Madrid with city's fall imminent. Moors drive over trenches. Battle in Madrid suburbs, cabinet flees to Valencia, tells leftists to fight on. Great battle for bridges halts rebel Madrid drive, city is bombed and shelled. Rebels shift their attack, threaten Madrid and north, try to cut Valencia road. Roosevelt repeats pledge not to propose new taxes, NRA licensing plan studied. Leftists recapture town 4 miles south of Madrid. Capital holds foes at bay. Madrid drives foe from key bridges. Insurgents pause. Planes fight over Madrid. 4 rebel craft fall in city. Loyalist offensive gains. Air bombs kill 53 at defense parley in Madrid Square. Rebels reported in Madrid with 3 columns advancing. Loyalists say drive failed. Fires dot Madrid as bombs kill 60. Foe is in the city. Berlin and Tokyo negotiating pact to combat Reds. Rome and Berlin recognize Spanish rebel government. Leftists open new attack. Italy ready to give Franco any aid needed for victory. Guns, planes pound Madrid. Britain avoids war moves, will keep aloof on Spain, but would defend France. Loyalists hem in rebels in pitiless Madrid fight. Icy rain checks bombers. Fleet at Cartagena raided by foreign submarines, Madrid communique says. Britain forbids her ships to carry arms to Spain, refuses right of search. Britain sends submarines to patrol Spanish waters as Franco affronts Eden. Berlin-Tokyo pact signed. London and Paris call it blind to conceal new aggression. Soviet dares Reich to try aggression, says it will fail. Spain appeals to League against Reich and Italy, council to call meeting. Litvinov sees armed bloc in Berlin-Tokyo-Rome deal. Madrid reports new gains. Drive on capital of rebels made by leftists in Spain. Russia has 7,000 warplanes. A headline for every day of December 1936. Reich now fears Japan pact imperils British relations. New battle outside Madrid. Roosevelt calls on the New World to unite to help the old avert war. For American bloc against attacker. Edward may abdicate throne today, refusing to break with Mrs. Simpson. Britain is astounded by the crisis. Edward VIII shows no sign of yielding in crisis, sees Baldwin, consults his mother and York, abdication still considered likely outcome. Cabinet hears King's answer to Baldwin at a 40-minute early morning session. 60 MPs back Edward, Mrs. Simpson in France. King held certain to quit Morrow. Churchill asked time and patience. Mrs. Simpson in Cannes, yacht ready. Cabinet gives Edward VIII more time. Aroused public opinion forces delay. Crowd demonstrates in Downing Street. Edward VIII may give up Mrs. Simpson. She makes offer to end the affair. King is still undecided, Baldwin says. King and Baldwin hold 5-hour talk, but no decision is yet indicated. Doctor and lawyer fly to Cannes. British ready for abdication today await Baldwin Common statement. King visits mother in secluded lodge. Edward VIII renounces British crown. York will succeed him as George VI. Parliament is speeding Abdication Act. Edward sails from Portsmouth on yacht after broadcasting farewell to empire. Parliament votes the accession of George VI. Chiang Kai-shek is prisoner of mutinous Shensi troops demanding war on Japan. Ex-king and alien set rebuked by Canterbury, exile a guest in Austria. Hitler tells Nazis to cease attacks upon Christianity. Shang lives, says Nanking, aid is seeking to free him, China orders martial law. Young Roosevelt saved by new drug. Britain will keep 5 old cruisers, war danger cited. America's promise united opposition on threat to peace. Eden urges Reich to check the flow of troops to Spain. Taxi bandits routed at Plaza. Automan saves his wife's gems. Gomez impeached 111 to 45. Ouster in Cuba held sure as Senate overrides veto. Gomez to defend acts in Cuba today at trial in Senate. Reich cautioned by Paris on sending men to Spain. Assurances are reported. Nazis face choice on Spain as British wean Italy away. General Chang freed, arrives in Nanking, ex-captor on way. Britain calls on Madrid to release seized ship, cargo, and 3 passengers. Paris is ready to make concessions. Pope Pius suffers increase in pains, doctors stand by. Newark dark for hours as fire cuts off power, business is shut down. Neutrality law revision is speeded by President to halt arms for Spain. Pope much better after long sleep.